Now I noticed something here. Before moving on to adding more of our facial features here, the eye socket's too deep. So I'm going to go to my masking brush here, crank up the strength all the way up. And I'm going to go ahead and mask this area out. I'm going to have to pull this back in because it's too deep, I think we're going to have a hard time indicating the eyeball area if we have this way too deep in there. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and mask that. Control I to invert it and unmask some certain areas here. Okay, and I'm going to go to my side view, go to the move brush here, and just go ahead and move it forward. And I'm going to go to my grab brush and then pull this right back in, the extra geometry that's sticking out. Okay, something like that. Back in. Alright, Alt M to unmask and Control R to invert it, to remesh it, and then smooth. Okay, so we still have that skull structure here. Alright, so something like that, and just gonna smooth it. Okay, now we could go ahead and indicate the area where we're gonna have our eyeball. So I'm gonna go to my draw brush here and just kind of add some indication of where the eyeball is gonna be. When we are going to do an actual eyeball here later, we're actually going to be using the MetaHuman eyeballs. Okay, the eyeballs that come with the MetaHuman in Unreal Engine, because it's going to give us a lot more realism, and everything is done there for you already. Because we are going to be taking this to Unreal Engine, and the thing is going to be a lot easier for us to just take the eyeball there, and that's basically what's done in the industry. It's what the standard is. It's so good, the eyeball in Unreal Engine, and every company that uses Unreal just uses the MetaHuman that comes with it, the eyeball that comes with that. Alright, and if you remesh this right now, you could see that something weird went on inside the eye socket. I'm going to undo that. That's because we're going to need more geometry. So I'm going to go to voxel size and bring this down to 0.01 and just remesh that. And go. And as you add more and more geometry here, it might be harder for you to smooth. So you feel free to go back to the smoothing brush and slightly increase the strength as you add more and more polygons. So we got our eyeball there, but the way the eye socket works is we have the eyeball inside the eye socket, and then we're also going to have some muscles there. And then on top of that, we're going to have some fat, all protecting the eyeball, our eyeball, from getting squashed, from getting damaged. And of course, on top of that is going to be the skin. So knowing that, we could just go to our clay strip brush here, okay? And we could go ahead and indicate some flesh around this area. Some flesh around his area here. Flesh here. Okay, like so. You go. And I could go here and add some flesh around this area. Flesh around here. Right, gonna push this in, like that. And we could go ahead and remesh that. And could go add some more indication here. Go to grab brush and kind of pull this back, pull it forward, and gonna go to clay strip. Now really think about, at this point, the distance between your character's eyeballs. So for some people, they're gonna have a huge space between the two eyeballs, and some people, the eyeballs are gonna look closer, and you're gonna have a narrow nose. Okay, for Michael B. Jordan, his spacing between the eyes here, I think it's going to be a lot. Okay, and I want you guys to think of that as you are doing your character. Think about the distance. I'm gonna add some more clay here. Just gonna fill this up and smooth that out and remesh it. Alright, so we have some of the indication there of the eye area. Okay, look in all views and gonna round that out. Go smooth this out slightly and remesh this, smooth it. Okay, so very subtle indication of the basic shape of our forms here for the eyes. And we go ahead and just kind of push this in and then add some more spacing here. There's a lot of space here for his eye area. Okay. So as you are sculpting this, everything is gonna be looking maybe blurred at the beginning because we don't want to put in the details too deep already. As in the beginning stages, it's really just all about, it's like when you're looking at the character and you squint, you're looking at a person, you squint your eyes, you're not gonna see every detail of their face yet. And this is exactly what we're doing here right now, just kind of thinking of how a person will look like when everything's blurred. Okay. Alright, and don't go too deep with the details. Just like when you're drawing, you're not going too deep with the details at all. Alright. Okay, and then we could also kind of indicate the nose already. What we could do is we could use the clay brush and just kind of add some clay there. Right. And we could go ahead and mask this area out. Control I to invert it. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and just protrude this out like that. Okay, so we have this sloped head, and then we have the bony landmark of the nose there, and then it comes down like that. For Caucasian, you're gonna even see something more noticeable, and he kind of have that with Michael B. Jordan, but not as prominent. I'm gonna go ahead and just gonna first of all kind of fix this, make it more slopier, his forehead. And then for this here, I'm gonna go and kind of bring this out like that. So then the bony landmark on the nose is not gonna be that prominent like that. Okay, and right, and look at his nose, guys. Could use the grab brush, kind of put that to the side, smooth it out. Okay, and using the clay strip, add some clay here. And using the scrape brush, just kind of scrape this. And then let's remesh that. And just kind of smooth it. And once again, just adding some more forms here. And I think for the nose area, we could definitely round it out. Round it out. And look at this here, we could go and move it up. He doesn't have a long nose, but at the same time, he doesn't have a short nose either. So I think his average, it's pretty average, the height of his nose. Not too short, not too long. And yeah, I can do this here. add some shape around this area and push the clay in like that. This here. So he has I think his wings of the nose here is quite chunky, and so I am definitely want to indicate that he has a chunky width of the nose there. Add a little bit of volume here. Okay. And I think we could definitely kind of lift this up slightly so we have a rounder nose there going. Right. And we could go ahead and start to indicate a bit more of his cheek area around this part here. And then we could indicate more of the lips. So I think for the lip, we could add some more volume here by using the sculpt brush. We could go ahead and volumize this area as his lips kind of stick out a bit. Something like that. And like this. And I think for the cheekbone, I kind of made it pop out too much, and I think we could go ahead and pull this down like that, because remember, the head here is definitely gonna give him that wider look on his forehead. That. And I'm gonna crank up my smoothing brush so I could further smooth this out. And pull this up. Okay, now I think I could, looking at the nose here, I might have to probably move this up, but I think it's best to add more shape to the overall face here. I think once we add more information to the face, we could more or less see if we need to make the nose shorter or longer. So it's really requires a lot of patience of sculpting. So don't get caught up with adding too many details at the beginning. Not too many details, very minor details, minor shape right now that we're going for. Okay, I'm gonna smooth that out. All right, now for the lip area, we go to our draw sharp brush here, and we go ahead and just kind of add like this, something like that. All right, just carve that in slightly, okay? And we could go kind of underneath here using our clay strip brush. Could push this in. We're just thinking of a basic shape of the lips right now. So at the beginning, I just like to think of the basic shape of the lips. Not really thinking about the likeness of the lips, but just so I could have some kind of thick lips there going. And then later I go back to the photo and try to make it look more like the character that I'm going for. And then we could use the clay strip brush to just kind of push this in, hold control and push this in. So when we're doing the basic shape of the lips, we got to think of the shape here. We got this going. See, we have that zigzag feel to this at the beginning. And it might look a little flat around this area, but what we're trying to go for at the beginning is just kind of this shape here, okay? And then later on, we're going to add a little bit more volume here as we move along and add more resolution to our mesh. I'll push that in. Just push this in. And then we could add the dip here for the lips that we all have. And yeah, like I said, not thinking too much of adding deep details here. I'm gonna go ahead and bring down my smoothing. That way when I smooth it, it's not gonna go away. I'm gonna go Ctrl R to remesh this. And just kind of smooth this out. And gonna bring this down. And go ahead and add some more volume here. Push this in. And then using my draw brush, could just go ahead and add some more volume in this area. So he definitely, I think he definitely has thick lips, Michael B. Jordan. And we could kind of indicate that in our shape here already. Really thicken up those lips. And thicken that up. Bring that out. And we could use our draw sharp, hold control, and then if you hold control, you could push out the clay instead of carving it. I think this is one of the features that makes Michael Jordan also unique. I think it's his lips, and his lips definitely, and also his chin. I think what makes him unique is from this area on down is what's gonna make him give him that Michael B. Jordan look. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of smooth this out. And for this, looks like his lips here on the side gonna stick out. We have more of the lips here kind of going all the way to the side, and then we have the lips of the upper lips here kind of in, and then this kind of sticks out a little bit more on the side, the upper lip area. So I'm trying to have a lip that kind of look like this, and then here, and then we have the lower lips going in this area. It's a little bit exaggerated right now, and I think I made it slightly too wide, but could kind of fix that. All right, you can see he got really, really juicy lips right now. We're gonna make him look a lot better later, but yeah, he looks like he's definitely he looks like he want to kiss someone all the time. I think that's what it looks like. So he has a smoochy lips, I would say. So you could kind of indicate that by making this area a little puffy, and then this area puffy, this area puffy, and then kind of bring it together, and you're gonna have that look where it looks like he wants to smooch you. You know, that's what I think looks like from if I look at his lip area. And once we add more and more details, we're gonna get to that. And so I can make it a little wider. Bring down the intensity. Smooth it. And I think the jaw, for his jaw, he definitely has the puffy jaw going around here. He has the puffy jaw. I think when you look at people that has a smoochy lips, they tend to have that jaw that goes like this. It's very prominent area for this muscle part of their chin here. And yeah, gonna go ahead and kind of round this out. Okay. Oh yeah, so I think now that I have added the lips here, I could definitely see that the nose is a little too long, I think. And I think we could go ahead and to fix this, to rectify this, we could go ahead and go to our side view here, go to our lasso mask, mask this area out, and then we could go to our paint mask and then just smooth this out. Hold shift to smooth, hold control. I'm gonna bring down the strength, hold control. Gonna make this kind of fade away around the edges. Control. Alright. And then I'm gonna control I. Once again, just kind of hold control and just kind of erase the edges here to just kind of blur out the edges. And I'm going to go to my move here and just kind of move it up. When I'm moving it, I'm going to go and turn off my symmetry. And I'm going to move it slightly up. Okay, cool. And I'm going to go ahead and unmask that. And I'm going to go back. Okay, so I think this is better. When I am doing likeness, what I also like to do is I like to kind of see how they would look like when they're a caricature, and I think this makes me exaggerate the features of the face in a way that kind of show more of their unique features, and then later I kind of tone it down, the exaggeration of the features of the face. And I think here, they definitely made this slightly too jagged, the jaw here on the side. And see here. Alright, so got work to do. I think I made the nose here poking out too much. And another thing is the face needs to come in. I think half of the face here definitely need to come in, need to be pushed in. So I'm gonna go to my lasso and mask this area out and smooth this out here. Control I to invert it. Hold control and slightly smooth this here. Okay, like that. And I'm definitely gonna go use my move here. And gonna go ahead and move it like this. I'm gonna go to my grab brush. Don't forget to turn on the symmetry again. Alright. And I'm gonna unmask that. I think there was a point where I forgot to turn on the symmetry, but I'm glad I caught that earlier. Otherwise it's gonna be an issue. Alright, so looking at this view here, I need to make this come down. I think I made it too puffy. There you go. And I think I could make his lips here stick out a bit more. And at this point, I think I want to go to my drop down here. Let's say I want to just move the lips going this way forward without moving it in the other direction. I think that's going to be around in the Z direction. So if I go here and lock in Z, that way I'm only moving it forward. So I'm able only to move it forward without moving it to the side. And I'm gonna go and just make sure to turn it off, right back off. And I think I definitely exaggerated the lips. Go. And don't really have much of the eyes, but we're gonna be adding that. I think at this point we could kind of further indicate the eye area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just add some indication of his eye here, just very softly. Right now I'm using the draw brush, holding control as I add a bit more of his eyeball, eyelid area. Kind of indicating that is. I think for his eyes, he has this sharp part going. It's very sharp. And I kind of do this here, kind of a little bit of bedroom eyes going. So that's what I'm trying to recreate there. And add a bit more of this nasolabial fold in this area and just kind of smoothing it. Okay, and indication of his bone here. I'm gonna push that in. I'm gonna increase the smoothing. Get that out. And as I'm sculpting, I do like to kind of indicate the eyebrow, just so I could kind of see a little bit of the likeness of the character. And of course, we're going to be relying more on the eyebrow, the actual eyebrow. For games, we're going to be doing the eyebrows, which is going to be hair cards mixed with texturing, combining the texture. But yes, it's best to do this so that we could kind of better see exactly how our character is going, just to add a little bit of sculpture of the eyes, of the eyebrows. Push this in with a clay strip brush. Okay. And I think, looking at this here, maybe the nose might still be a little too much. So I think definitely could mask this area out. You could see as you add more and more of the features of the face, the more you're able to see what needs to be fixed here. Control I to invert it. And hold control, further smooth this. Alright, now I'm going to go to my move, turn this off. Don't forget to turn it right back on, the symmetry. Okay, go. And I'm going to go to side view. In the side view here, I think this definitely needs to be pushed in. We're definitely gonna be working more on the eyes here, and I think around the jaw, it looks too flat here, so we could definitely add. I'm gonna turn on symmetry. Don't forget to turn on symmetry, very important. Okay, so add a bit more here, indication of the chin. Go. So okay, and it might look a little lumpy at the beginning, guys, your work, but go ahead and it might look a little weird at the beginning, your sculpture, but as we move along, you're going to be able to fix this a bit more. But I think having a little bit of progress is good. I think that I made a little progress here. Yep, a little progress there going. I think he kind of has, yeah, definitely has that slight bedroom look. So, like that.